What's up guys, James Drake here. I'm going to show you something really fantastic about editing like a pro on the iPad in 2017. So if you've ever done any makeshift editing on the iPad, like I have in iMovie, it's always been kind of jankety. But as far as professional editing goes, you don't think of an iPad for that. But this new app is really starting to change my thought process on that. It's called LumaFusion. If we pop that open, let's explore what we get here. Let's create a project. I'm gonna call it something highly original, like first project, and pop that in there. And you'll notice right away that at the bottom there, you've got a green audio channel and a blue video channel. Now, standard stuff, right? What editing software doesn't have a timeline? But what really makes this program stand out is the multi-track video. So if I shamelessly put my logo down here on track 1, I can again shamelessly put my logo on track 2, and again shamelessly put my logo on track 3, for a total of 3 video tracks working simultaneously like you would in your favorite NLE. I love that. I love the fact that you can work with these files, you can move your video tracks around. As an editor, that's how I work. I kind of shuffle stuff in there and get it all right and tight, and this allows that functionality, which I love. I've never seen an iPad app do that, so I'm really big about that feature. One of the barriers to entry, at least on editing on the iPad, is how do I get my footage on there? Well, currently this app supports a wide variety of frame rates and resolutions in the MOV and H.264 formats, and I love the fact that they've gone to the link to allow you to connect your various types of cloud services. So if we click on this little 3 ellipses dot button icon and we click import media, I've already connected myself to Dropbox, so you're gonna see I've got a great selection of my MP4s on Dropbox ready to go, which I love. I mean, it's so easy. Now here's the other cool thing. Let's say I want to import, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these videos. What's gonna happen is, hit the import button here, downloading media. So it's actually gonna pull those off Dropbox, put them in the iPad, and then you're off to the races in your editing. That to me is a really excellent workflow as far as being able to work on the fly. If you have your stuff in the cloud, I mean, all day long. This is a pretty easy thing to do. Okay, so let's say you've downloaded your media and you're good to go. Let me take these shameless promotions off of here. And we want to add this really interesting aerial shot that was captured with some horses in the West. What I really enjoy about this app that I wasn't expecting to is the speed. I was expecting it to maybe lag a little bit here and there, but let's say we add a transition like a zoom blur or something like that. All right, so we pop open this folder button here and hit transitions. What about this burst? That might be a really interesting transition between our first and second shot here. When I hit play, I'm amazed. No rendering. I mean, that's pretty lightweight, right? You're kind of like, oh, no big deal. Well, here's another cool thing about the program. If I double tap on this shot, it opens up an effects panel. You can do all kinds of things like adjust rotation. There's a slow up, speed down effect. You can mess with your audio settings. And then they even add in some pretty cool color type filters. And they even mentioned they're gonna be expanding these. But I mean, even with the tools that are in it now, it's kind of like where the Adobe Lumetri panel was when it first came out. I mean, it's pretty great for being an iPad app and having this amount of functionality. You can adjust your red, green, blue, your gamma, your tint, check your white balance. You can add a vignette. And on top of that, you can do some really interesting stuff like mirroring. So as you can see, I tap the mirroring deal here, and I can kind of choose my point at which I want it to mirror, and the green is the angle, if you will. So let's just keep it around a 90 degree or so. And I can use this little jog wheel here to kind of move around my shot. If we hit play, what's really cool is that's real time. That is not dropping frames. That's multiple effects. I've got a vignette, I've adjusted the color, I've got a strange mirroring effect all happening in real time on this clip. And I think that's really stellar. I mean, they did just a really fantastic job. And if you're seeing it slow down at all, that's probably because I'm recording it onto a computer through the iPad interface, and it might drop frames that way. But as I'm seeing it on here, it is smooth as butter. I mean, no stuttering whatsoever. And when you're editing, that's a big deal. You don't want to be poking around. Again, this is an iPad Air version 1. So if you're at a 12.9 Pro or 9.7 inch Pro, I mean, you're probably going to be screaming in 4K. Another thing I really like about this app that isn't generally found on an iOS type app is the ability to export quite easily and with, a good amount of flexibility. So if we tap this top screen video window up here and you hit the little export button, you can first choose where, which is always great. If we're just going to go to the Photos app here for now, and you can check what you want your quality to be. Now this actually mimics what Filmic Pro can do as far as bit rates. And on my device, it's 1080, so the max is 50 megabit per second. On the newer devices, it'll do up to 100 megabit per second 4K. So you can choose your quality, you can choose your frame rate, your resolution, all that, and it even gives you an estimated size. All of that is just an awesome way to wrap out your project. Kind of gives you where you're going, which on other apps it just doesn't give you. It's just like, hey, here's a file. It's going to go somewhere, and you might see it in the Photos app. I like how definite and how much flexibility there is here. That really feels like a great professional ad to me. Lastly, there's just a couple little things that really polish this app that make it stand out to me. There's a little screenshot button. You can hit this little camera icon up here. It'll send it to your Photos app immediately, and faster than I can even get there. And it'll give you a high quality export of what you're working on right then and there, which is great. If you're trying to mock up something and send ideas across, I mean, having an export function that simple is nice. Nicer than standard screenshot type of thing. The other thing that's really cool is this app allows you to modify your frame aspect. So let's say you don't want to be in 16:9, you want to be in a crazy VistaVision or, CinemaScope 2.4:1. You can just pop in there into your settings, change your frame aspect, and then, you're double tapping on your image. And then you can actually really quickly hit fit, fill, focus, all these different kinds of functions that allow you to manipulate your image. And now you're editing CinemaScope aspect in your iPad app. Yet another really awesome feature that I love about this. So overall, pretty cool, right? It also works on your iPhone. The interface is a little bit different, as it has to be, because there's less screen real estate. Also works great on the iPhone. I think all the features are all there. I haven't gone through every single menu, but I don't know. I really like this app. I like being able to zoom in quick and just add transitions. It just feels so fluid, so fast, so reliable. I mean, for those reasons, I really see this being a professional tool. All the tools are there to do some stuff on the fly, and keep in mind, the iPad weighs 800 grams? So if you're backpacking, or if you're out in the woods and you have a weight limit, if you're in space, you got to go to NASA. I mean, you probably have computers up there, but you could totally condense your kit, if you will, and do some pretty hefty editing on this. In addition to everything we've already seen, there's a whole slew of professional features coming down the line, which I think is fantastic. It's been developed by the Pinnacle team, this app LumaFusion, and I think that's great because Pinnacle Studio's been around for a long time. They've developed the app. They kind of get, developing software. What does that look like? So there's going to be great support behind this. They've talked about adding things like the color LUT import ability, which is huge, advanced color control, curve editing for keyframes, get those Bezier slow down, speed up kind of things, and a whole host of other things. So I'm excited, and you should definitely go check this out. It's on iTunes. There's a link below this video, either on the blog or on YouTube, and check it out. It's really sweet. I highly recommend it. I think iPad editing is here to stay in 2017. Oh, and one more thing. This whole video was edited using LumaFusion.